The White House praised the Inflation Reduction Act as a way to tackle runaway prices for consumers, a problem that exists here in Europe as well. And officials on the continent say that they're put at a disadvantage because of the bill and are collectively urging the U.S. to make drastic changes.
European Union member states are taking a stand against what may be the crown jewel of the Democratic agenda. Leaders on the continent say the Inflation Reduction Act will not only hurt domestic companies and economies, but may even be illegal. Nearly half of the $800 billion piece of legislation is going to climate and energy policies. A stimulus EU officials fear will create a disadvantage for companies trying to compete on the free market.
We are concerned about the consequences due to the Inflation Reduction Act.
You have all the subsidies that might be provided by the US governments to private companies on the American soil. Energy prices in Europe are far more expensive than the ones you have in the US.
Officials argue the law is not just bad policy, but violates international trade rules by granting tax credits to American corporations. EU leaders are vocalizing their criticisms, as French President Emmanuel Macron is arguing that the US law doesn't only put European companies at a disadvantage, but could have detrimental effects on the climate. I could not talk here about the decarbonation of the industry without mentioning the Inflation Reduction Act. The United States is producing cheap gas that they sell us at a high price. They've taken measures of massive state aid for some sectors that fully throw our projects out of the market. It's not just European leaders voicing concerns, but allies in Asia, such as Japan and South Korea, who fear their car industry could be affected by the surge of new funds entering the American market. A task force of EU and US representatives will be meeting every week in an effort to reconcile the differences between the two sides, but it may be a difficult ask for a bill that's already passed in the United States.
The first meeting between EU and U.S. representatives was held last week, where officials laid out 9 parts of the legislation they believe is in violation of international trade laws. And there are early frustrations that the well-being of European allies wasn't taken into account during the drafting of the bill, as making any changes to its implementation now could prove to be very difficult.